Hello, world. This is Overtime with Terrence and Leon, a WRBI original production presented by Bruns Gutzwiller. Choose Bruns Gutzwiller, the right choice for your next construction project, and also being brought to you by FCN Bank. FCN Bank, building stronger communities, member FDIC. Leon, the wait is literally about over. I mean, we are about 2 weeks away from high school football. I got a chance to watch some preseason NFL football last night. I cannot tell you how happy my heart was to see football on my TV once again.
Hey, you know what? It's funny, man. We've been talking to some of these players and coaches around Southeastern Indiana, but more important, really, most of the kids in the conference that we're associated with, and listening to them and hearing the excitement in their voice and in the coaches' voices, it just makes me even more ready for all this to start.
Yeah, no doubt. So we wanted to do a football preview, if you would, run through the teams in Southeastern Indiana, just to kind of get you ready, the listener, for the upcoming season. And let's go ahead and kick things off right here at home, Leon, talking about the Batesville Bulldogs, 11-2 on the season last year. And as you have eloquently put it here in these past few weeks, you can't go back. You produce at that high level. They won the sectional. They go on to host a regional game, a very close highly contested game with Heritage Hills. You know this team wants to get back to that regional game again this season and maybe go a step further. What can the folks expect from the Bulldogs this season?
Now, I think one thing they're going to be is they're going to try to be really explosive. I've talked to Coach Ori and heard some of the little tweaks he wants to make to the offense and things like that. But if they can maintain a solid front on the offensive and defensive end,
Yes.
you may see another season like Batesville had, another long run.
Yeah, they go through that regular season. The only loss was to East Central, so you know that game is circled on the calendar. Lawrenceburg played them tough, but they beat Lawrenceburg twice, once in the regular season, once in sectional play. Again, both games were really close. So you know they've got those games, and here's the kicker, Leon. Those two games they always do, but they come back to back on the schedule. Uh,
Yeah.
they play East Central in week 5, and then back it up week 6 with Lawrenceburg, the meat of their schedule.
Yeah, as I'm sitting here looking at the schedule, I mean it's right smack dab in the middle of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny. If you did have an off week, that'd probably be the best time to have it would be in between those two games.
So the Bulldogs 11-2 last season. They look to improve. Let's move on from there. One more thing on that Bulldog schedule, and we'll get to it later on. You know, we had a chance to talk to some of the South Dearborn players. That's the game they have circled on their calendar. They want
Yeah.
the Bulldogs in a big way. Felt like they let a game slip away that they should have won, caused them to, in fact, fall back in the small conference division. Bulldogs ended up being first place, and South Dearborn ended up being second. So they definitely want that game back. In fact, let's go ahead and talk about South Dearborn right now. You were impressed when we talked to them last here recently, Leon, with their consistency here as of late.
Yeah, man. When you look at their records over the years, in the very beginning of Coach Ballard's tenure, the records were up and down. They were all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But in the past 3 years, they have been no less than 500. A couple of years being 7-3, last year being 5-5. But they are now a team that people have to pay attention to.
Right.
Then you're not just going to show up and beat South Dearborn like you have in the past. You're gonna have to bring something.
Yeah. So not only do you have to pay attention to them, the rest of the world is paying attention to them,
Yeah.
particularly a lot of attention being shown to star linebacker, coach's son, Brady Ballard. And when we had a chance to talk to him, Leon, this kid's got some swagger about him.
He was a very, very impressive young man. You meet these kids, and some of them are really shy, camera shy,
Yeah.
microphone shy, or whatever. But he was right there. He was right there. As people will see, he was his chest was out, and he was speaking with confidence, and I think he's ready to prove something to the world.
There's no doubt about that. And the way that he carried himself, you can tell he is the heartbeat of that defense.
Hmm.
They will follow his lead. They will feed off of his energy. And you're right. He strikes me as a young man that's going to bring it every single Friday night. As we mentioned, they themselves told us they got Batesville circled on their calendar. They got an interesting non-conference schedule with Jennings County and Madison. Those teams could prove to be a good test for them. Uh, but I would say the games to watch, of course, they end the season at Lawrenceburg. Those two schools very close in proximity. I think Coach said about 2-3 miles away from each other. And those kids know each other very well. They've been playing against each other for years, all the way since Pop Warner. So that game is also circled on their schedule. Some must-win situations for the Knights.
Well, two things is that when you look at their first four games, three of those are on the road,
Mm,
and they're against 3A and 4A schools, being Madison, Batesville, and Connersville. But the other thing I'm looking forward to is you heard Coach kind of give us a hint that there might be some people going both ways, and
mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to see if Brady's one of those people. See, we
Right.
know what he produces on defense, so I'd love to see what he produces on offense if he's one of those individuals.
And again, they will end their season just up the road with Lawrenceburg. And let's go to Lawrenceburg next. Last year, solid season for Lawrenceburg, 8-3, 1 year removed from an appearance in the state championship game. They want to get back to that 8-3 season. They really felt, Leon, like they were going to go back to state last year. Um, their only losses, they lose to East Central, and as I mentioned, they had two losses to Batesville, the regular season loss, and then they lost to them in the first, or excuse me, in sectional play. So that they themselves, there's nothing on their mind more than getting back to that title game.
That they got some studs themselves. They got a heck of a defensive player in Noah Kanega, and I think the quarterback that's coming back. Am I saying it? Ahern. Ahern. Um,
Mm.
he's the real deal, and I think if they can keep him upright and keep him healthy, I think they could go a long way.
They have a interesting addition on their schedule in week 2. And man, they open their season up with East Central. Man, what a way to open. Woof. They open up with East Central, and then they play Taylor, who I'm not familiar with, has not been on their schedule previously. So that's another, um, an oddity that they may not know, not a certainty there in terms of win or loss. They don't really know. I'm sure the coaching staff has scouted and has film, but when you're playing a team for the first time, Leon, I'm sure you just don't know what to expect until that game starts.
Yeah, you definitely don't. And I, the thing I like about what Lawrenceburg does, East Central does this, is they get out of the state and they try to
Mm-hmm.
play somebody that they
Yes.
don't see every year.
Right.
And I think that's really good. I remember in high school, we used to always go down to Tennessee or, go to up in Ohio, different places just to play a different game, different
Right.
atmosphere, different field, different type of player. That'll be fun for those kids.
Yeah. Taylor, just up the road there in Cleves, Ohio. And again, like I said, a new addition to their schedule. We'll see how that one unfolds. Let's move and talk about one of the smaller schools, but a powerhouse in their own right, and that is the Milan Indians. On the season last year, Milan put together an 8-4 season, a very solid season for Milan. And you talk about that consistency with South Dearborn. That's since I've been calling games, Leon. I started out calling Milan football, and I've kind of watched them over the years, and they have really um, had strong seasons. They were winning their conference. I think now, though, they're not in a conference right now, but when they were in a conference, they were winning their conference on a regular basis. They consistently go up market to play the bigger schools and show themselves well. but they've just not been able to break through in postseason play. This could be that year.
Man, if you could look all the way back to 2016, they have had some unbelievable records.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the 21, and then the 21 season and the 22 season, they had a bit of a dip. And then last season, it looks like they bounced back at 8-4. I really have to say, I think they are probably um, the most overlooked program in this area
Right.
as far as producing wins, producing athletes that go on to play on the next level.
Right.
Ryan Langferman, who's the head coach and the principal, he does a really good job with those guys. So I've been
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah, he definitely does. He definitely does. And like I said, I started uh, following them when I first got into the broadcasting, and it was just a pleasure. I can remember the first season. In fact, I think every game in the regular season was a running clock situation, and you can tell with their schedule, as you had talked about earlier. This is a squad that likes to test themselves. They go up market. They play the bigger schools. They start their season. Check this, Leon. Rushville, a bigger school, Batesville, a bigger school, Lawrenceburg, a bigger school. 1, 2, 3, they're going up market playing bigger schools, tougher competition to really test themselves.
Yeah, I'm just so excited about all these teams. I think I want to try to, my goal this fall is to get out and see
Mm-hmm.
every one of these teams we're talking about. And hopefully it times out right. I haven't looked at it yet, but hopefully the calendar falls where I can see, knock out two birds with one stone and see some of these teams play each other.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. That would be. Yeah, I'm gonna hold you to that too. I'm gonna hold you to that. Let's keep going though. Uh, just talked about Milan there, and you used the phrase one of the most overlooked schools. Here's another one, in my opinion, that gets overlooked, Leon. But I don't think teams and schools will be overlooking them this season. Talking about the Franklin County Wildcats, tough season for them last year. They finished 4-7, but they have got a complete and total renovation of their facilities there. And you may think it's cliche, you may think it's silly, but I always liken it to when we were kids and you got new shoes, Leon, you could always run faster.
Yeah, it's funny. We had Alex Smith on, and you talk about somebody who was just the legend of all legends when you talk
Mm-hmm.
about football, the first Mr. Football in the state of Indiana. But from the way he talks, and there was a kid, and I don't want to say his name wrong, but I think the last name is Dozier. I have heard from several people that
Mm-hmm.
he's one that you need to keep your eye on. So I'll be watching them to see what this kid's really all about.
And their schedule, their non-conference, another interesting non-conference schedule. They start the season and end the season with non-conference games. They start off with Newcastle, which is definitely got to be a test for them there, and they end up with Bluffton as well. Bluffton, again, school not familiar with, haven't heard of, haven't seen them appear on their schedule. But Bluffton, out of Bluffton, Indiana, that'll be their second uh, non-conference game on their schedule. Again, they start the season that way. They'll end the season the exact same way. We'll see how the Wildcats perform with their new digs, being able to show off that beautiful new stadium and facilities to all the world.
Yeah.
Let's shoot up to Decatur County and want to talk a little bit about the Greensburg Pirates. Uh, their new head coach, although he's gotten, I believe, 2, maybe 3 seasons under his belt, Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson will be one of my guests this coming Monday night on Coach's Corner, so I'm excited to get a chance to talk to him. But they're looking to turn this program around, Leon. A really, really rough go of it last season, 0-10, and
Mm-hmm.
they're definitely trying to put some wins on the board. It reminds me, and I've talked to Wes Anderson before, and coach is a little old school, and he's bringing a lot of new things to the team. And I can remember, when you're in college, bowling, at least when I was in college, bowling was like the outing. That's what that's what people did for fun, this, that, and the other. Now I remember going bowling. I could bowl, maybe get, 175, 200, 210, on a good night. And one day I was bowling, and there was a guy, a pro bowler, let's say, in the lane next to me. I mean, he was just strike after strike after strike. And he comes over to me and he says, "Can I show you something?" I was like, "Yeah." So he showed me a proper grip, the whole nine, the way I should hold the ball, the whole nine. And he had the beautiful, I mean, just the beautiful delivery where the ball goes all the way over to the gutter, skirts on the gutter, then comes back out, and hits that lead pin. So he was showing me how to do that. And he showed me that. And, my next 4 or 5 balls were all gutter balls because I was trying to learn something new, right?
Trying to spin
Trying
it.
to
It
do
wasn't coming back.
Right. Trying to do something different. And I feel like that's where the Greensburg Pirates are. With Wes Anderson coming in, he's trying to adopt a new system. He's bringing new teachings, new learning to this squad. And last year's 0-10 season, well, that was my 5 or 6 gutter balls in a row. I look to see them bounce back and have a good season.
Well, if we're going to use the bowling analogy, man, I just throw that thing back and let it go. So, because the exciting part to me is to see how many pins I can make fly. So, um, hopefully he can have a season like I have and just go straight through them.
Well, they'll definitely be wanting to do it. Probably if we wanted to put the uh, the rivalry games there for them. Batesville is always Batesville and Greensburg. I don't care what the sport is. That's a rivalry game, and of course, with Coach Ulrey coming from Greensburg,
Yeah.
that's an extra added feature there. But they open up their season 2 non-conference games, Shelbyville and Greenfield Central, uh, which is going to be some challenges for them, no doubt. And then, of course, again, that Batesville game, always a big rivalry there. So those are some games to pay attention to as Greensburg tries to improve from last season. And I think they'll be able to get that done.
Yeah, I wish him the best of luck. I was on a football team that went 1-10, and man, it's
Mm,
hard to recover from things like that. So,
right.
hopefully those guys can bounce back and they get some confidence and maybe get a couple of wins under their belt to start off and go from there.
Staying with Decatur County, we'd be remiss not to talk about North Decatur. The North Decatur Chargers, 9-4 last season. They finished second in their conference, and they too just 1 year removed from big postseason. They made it all the way to semi-state a couple of years back. They want to get back to there in that semi-state game. Uh, Leon, they had the lead in the fourth quarter, um, and just could not. Boy, let me tell you, it was the coldest game I've ever been to, and at their stadium. And you can imagine a game of that magnitude. You had tons of media there, and there wasn't enough room for everybody to get into the press box. We had to
Yeah,
call the game from outside, and it was cold.
yeah. Since we moved here in 2014, I keep hearing about North Decatur football, North Decatur football, North Decatur football, and I have got to find a way to go check them out this year. I hear nothing but great things about Steve Stern and his program, so I'm looking forward to finding a Friday night that I can go watch them.
You listen, Coach Stern, he is as old school can get. An old school, hard nosed coach. And what I like about his program and I like about Coach Stern, it is not just about the X's and O's with him. You can have a conversation with him, and in 5 minutes, you can tell he really cares about these young men and
Yep.
he wants the best for them, not just as football players, but as human beings. And I think that's why this team plays the way they do. I feel like on most Friday nights they're playing for him. You
Yeah.
know, they're running through literally running through brick walls for him. Um, so I look forward, as like you just said, seeing them, and I want to see them get back because they were part of that season, and I always go back to this where every single we had three teams here in Southeastern Indiana that had a say so in a state title with Lawrenceburg, North Decatur, and East Central. Um, and yeah, it was really good to be along for that ride. I was able to call that semi-state game with them, and again, it was just great to see the run that they went on. We'll see if they can get back this year.
Yep.
I almost forgot about South Decatur. I apologize. The Cougars putting together one of their best seasons in a long time last year, 7-3, with a nice run there in the middle where they put together a 6-7 game winning streak in the middle of that season, really building confidence and momentum. Their big rivalry game, of course, obviously is going to be North Decatur. They opened up their season last year against North. North got the better of them, and that they've got that circled on their calendar
Yep.
because they kind of feel like the little brother, right, to North Decatur, and maybe even the same way with Greensburg being there in Decatur County.
Well, the one thing I'm looking at right here, when you look at their seasons, they have not beaten North Decatur since 2016.
Wow.
Um, and that's the thing. But the thing I will say, the past 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
their win loss record has been getting better.
Yes.
Um, so maybe that's the game I need to go check out, because those rivalry games, you can throw
Yes.
all the spreads and everything out the
Say it.
window.
Say
It's
it.
like those games end up being won off of who wants it the most and who who has the least amount of, who can stabilize the emotions
Right.
to
Right.
come
Yeah.
through with the win. So that might be the one I go see.
Yeah. The interesting thing about those rivalry games too, like you said, and from a coaching standpoint, you don't know what that energy is going to do because sometimes the energy just overcomes you, right?
Yeah.
And you see all of these mental mistakes being made, and then sometimes that energy fuels you, and you may have a player that just plays out of his head that night and lead your team to victory. So yeah, I agree. I think that's a good game for you to check out, and that's week one. They open
Yep.
up with their northern brethren right up the road, North Decatur, South Decatur, in week one. That brings us to our last school, and we have to talk about the East Central Trojans. Of course, don't really need to talk much about their record last year, unblemished,
Right.
perfect 15-0 as they defend their state title and repeat with back-to-back titles. But because of that success, Leon, in the state of Indiana, they have what they call the success factor. And with that back to back success, winning state titles, that pushes them up into a new realm. They'll graduate from 4A and then move into 5A for postseason play. Doesn't have any effect on their regular season schedule. That's just their postseason schedule. So they will still be playing an EIAC regular season schedule, but their uh their out of conference schedule, another one of these teams that schedules tough components
Hmm.
out of state. We talked to those gentlemen, Harrison and Moeller. That's week 2 and week 3. Both of those games on the road, and they felt
Yeah.
like those were going to be big games for them this year.
Well, after talking to those guys on the podcast, they all have a certain confidence about them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I asked them about moving up and things like that, it was almost like they were just telling me, like, you just wait and see.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we're going to find out. We're going to
Yeah.
find out really quickly. When you play, you got Lawrenceburg, Harrison, Moeller, like you were saying, you're going to find out since they beat, especially since they beat all three of those last year, and they
Right.
weren't just beating teams; they were just like destroying teams.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with them having to reload the way they had to, it is going to be very interesting to see what happens against a healthy Lawrenceburg, what happens against a traditional power like Cincinnati Moeller, what
Hmm.
happens against a Franklin County who people are expecting. I mean, that first, man, the first 6 games could be a true test for them every single game.
Well, and as our listeners will hear in just a second, um, they have a good understanding of who they are in terms of they
Mhm.
know that every Friday night they're getting everybody's best. They're
Yes.
not going to play a single team this year that's going to take them lightly. They're not going to play a single team that's going to show up and be like, oh, well, we'll see what happens. No, they get everybody's best. And you went through that run, Lawrenceburg, Harrison, Moeller. And then you have to remember, I take you back last year, Leon, to the East Central Batesville game. And through that first quarter, that game was played almost even. It was 7-6 early in that ball game, and it was a crucial 4th-and-1 play. Had the Bulldogs been able to pick up that first down or score the touchdown on that goal line stand play, a great goal
Yep.
line stance by the East Central defense, by the way. But had they have been able to do that, the Bulldogs would have taken a lead, and you don't know how that team would have responded first time in their season, in a couple of seasons, being behind.
Yeah. So we are going to wait and see. We're going to find out, and hopefully, those guys. It's funny. I want all of them to win, but
Yeah,
all of them can't win. So,
right,
man,
right.
I just want them to show us some really good football and give all the fans out there the treat that they deserve.
Last thing I'll mention on this too, again, going back to our conversation with Coach Rand Ballard from South Dearborn, he was quick to point out the success that they had some years back. The only team that had held East Central without a touchdown. They
Yeah.
ended up losing the game in the end, but it was all on field goals. East Central did not score a touchdown, passing or running,
Yeah.
in that ball game. And before that game, before they play each other, Coach Ballard's going to use that as motivation for his team to get up for that game.
Oh yeah, for sure. So we will see what Coach Ballard has in his back pocket, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Along with everybody else.
Yep.
But speaking of these East Central Trojans, Leon, you had a chance to sit down with their captains on defense and offense, and we'll present that to you now for our listeners. Uh, East Central and their team captains for this coming up season.
Only need 20 minutes to talk about the best player in the state at South Dearborn. Come
Yeah.
on, guys. Come on. You got it. That's pretty funny. Come on. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. I didn't say anything.
First, I want to say welcome to Carson Pieczonka. Carson, let us know who you are.
I'm Carson Pieczonka. I'm a strong safety at East Central and look forward to making a big impact this year.
Alex
I'm Alex Kuhn, play linebacker for East Central, and I'm ready for the season to start.
and Wyatt.
My name's Wyatt Smith. I'm a right guard at East Central. I'm a senior, and I just can't wait for week 1 to be here.
And then QB1.
My name's Nolan Maple. I'm a quarterback. I'm a junior at East Central High School.
All right. First, I got to bust you guys' chops. So we had our technical difficulties, and we're not going to talk about mine. We're going to talk about yours. So, um, Alex is the highest GPA, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Were you the one that figured out the technical difficulty, or no?
I had to help figure it out. Yeah, you did not. It did not help at all.
So
Maybe I
guys,
like to admit it.
bottom line, man, when does school start?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. All right. So are you going through 2-a-days right now?
No, we can't do 2 a days.
In the state of Indiana, we can't do 2-a-days.
Yeah, we can't do 2 days.
Oh man, no wonder you guys are soft. See, I'm from the
Come
South.
on now. Come on now.
So you guys are getting ready to get started. Your first home game is against who?
Lawrenceburg.
Oh, Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to play against Canega. Y'all ready for that?
Very.
I think so. Oh yeah.
Let me start with Wyatt. Let me ask you this: what are you looking forward to the most this year? You guys are coming off a state championship, and there's a lot of expectation, but you're also moving up a class.
Mhm.
What are you looking forward to this year, this season?
I'm just ready to prove to everyone that I mean, we lost a lot of great guys last year. I'm just ready to show everybody what the 2025 class is all about. We got some guys here in the 2025 class that are really good, and we're just hoping to have a great season.
Carson, you're the guy that probably has most of the accolades of everybody. I mean, being a very talented guy, and some kind of way, Carson, I don't even think I know her, but like I follow your mom on Facebook,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, man, she is like all over the place posting stuff about
Yeah,
you,
she is.
which is unbelievable. But I mean, when you get a chance to ask her if she do you know a guy named Leon Smith in Batesville? Because it's weird how I ended up following her. I don't know. Maybe I saw you in a clip or something. But anyway, Indiana Prime 25. You led the team in interceptions last year. You're the only returning DB. How does it feel to kind of be the almost like the would you say kind of like the returning foundation piece of the team?
Yeah, it's definitely an honor, and there's a lot of helping pieces in that because it wouldn't be for the team to help me get those interceptions and everything like that, like the D line, linebackers. So I'd like to thank them for a lot of the stuff that I do, and I'm just really looking forward to playing with the guys that we have this year and people that look up to me, help them out with whatever they need, and just make a good make a good season.
Yeah. So let's see. You got Alex and Carson, defensive captains. Nolan
Yep.
and Wyatt, offensive captains. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You guys don't do a special teams captain?
No,
No.
sir.
Oh man, that's crazy. I was a special teams captain in college. They're the best captains. So Alex, what's
Yep.
the expectation for the defense this year?
Defense, it's going to be the same expectation as always. Go out there, play football. I mean, we're going to play hard, we're going to play fast. I mean, that's just how we are. We go out there, we're going to hit some people. We're going to hit them hard, and they're not going to like it. I mean, that's kind of always been how we played, and that's how we're going to keep on playing.
That's awesome. Nolan, QB1.
Yep.
You got to step up this year. Are you ready for that?
I think so, yeah.
What are you, as a quarterback, what are you looking most forward to as far as being the quarterback at East Central High School?
I'm also looking forward to being around the guys. Like, it's different being the starting quarterback, but it's fun. Like, I get to lead the great group of guys to these games, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun.
A I was told by somebody, and you can tell me if this is incorrect, but you're the worst athlete in your family.
Hey,
Oh, no. I would say whoever told you that is probably the worst athlete.
Okay, my bad, my bad. I'll have to let your dad know that since he's a good friend of mine. So anyway, back to we obviously want to talk football, but I was told that somebody calls Wyatt the fake farmer.
Wow.
Why don't you? I think Carson, tell me a little bit about the fake farmer tag.
I don't know what that's from. I feel like for some reason that's my Maple's dad. It is.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to tell me something. I mean,
Well, I mean, we have a family farm that I work on every day after practice, so I don't know. A lot of guys like to make fun of me for it, but you know, I make some money from it, and just something else to keep busy with.
all right. So, who's got the best looking girlfriend? Man, the other guys didn't even raise their hands. Like, what?
They know better. They know better.
I love it. I love it. All right, so guys, we had Coach Miners on a while back. I need you guys to tell me your best Coach Miners story that you go in the locker room to tell each other when he's not around.
Best Coach Minor story. I don't know. I would say whenever he's like giving a like hard speech, it was like our semi-state game, and he'll like get to the good part and he'll like start stuttering. He'll start stuttering, and then like, I try like not to laugh, but like it gets to a point. But I think that's pretty funny.
All right, so you guys are moving up a class. Give me your thoughts on what that means for you guys.
I feel like a lot of people are doubting us just because we lost a bunch of guys, but I think we'll definitely prove them wrong, and I think 5A is not ready for what we have to put up because we play gritty, fast, and just unexpectable. So I think that's going to be good for us.
Hey, Nolan, let me ask you this from an offensive perspective. How much, with losing somebody like Josh and Brotherton, how much will the offense change? And if it will, how? And if it will not, tell me about some of the guys that you're looking to step up.
So we're returning 3 offensive linemen on our offense. Everyone else is gone. So, but I think we're going to keep most of the base stuff. We might like fix a couple things here and there, but for the most part, I think we're going to keep our base stuff. And we got some good guys coming up, and we've lost a lot with those seniors that were last year. Like we've lost a ton, but I think we got some good guys coming up. We have a running back named Ron Mingus who has a great offseason. Some of our wide receivers that you could see, Ethan Feldkamp, Aaron Mayer, Eli Selhorst, and Trevor Perkins. Those are some that you could see out there on the field.
Yep.
And then we have a couple of linemen battling for a couple of spots. Those 3 returning, I would say, probably have their spot mostly locked. But then those other 2, we're still trying to figure that out. Those guys are fighting those out. So it's going to be good. I think we're going to be okay on offense. We just got to find a way to put the ball in the end zone and we'll be good.
Alex, tell me a little bit about the defense. What should we expect?
Defense, I think it's going to be looking a lot similar to last year. I mean, we definitely lost some great dudes, no doubt about that. But I think people that took up their roles from last year, I think are going to do just as good of a job. We got a great linebacker core this year. I'm really excited for our linebackers. We got some good dudes up front. I think our secondary is going to be really solid. We have Zonk returning, who's been a huge piece of our defense. And I mean, I think we're just going to keep doing how we have been doing. I think we're going to keep playing hard defense, keep moving, and keep shutting people out.
Carson, what do you think is going to surprise people about this year's team?
I think just how hard we can play, and then the people that are coming in to fill spots that are people that are just like unexpected, that have great off seasons. Like some people I'll name are be Jake Bear. You'll see that a lot of him. Nyden Houston, Troy Sebastian, Jake Lutz, and Matthew Roy and Gavin Birding. You'll see a lot of them. So I think those are a lot of key pieces to our defense and what they're going to see. So I think they'll definitely make some good impacts.
So Wyatt, you are considered the captain of this group, right?
Of Of one of the offensive, yeah.
Are you considered the leader of the four of you?
Not necessarily.
Somebody told me you were the captain of all captains.
I don't like to think that way. I like to think of us, all individually, trying to lead this team to great things.
Oh, so now you're gonna play the modest role. Now I see how
I
it is.
don't.
Yeah, you gonna.
I don't know what Maple that's telling you, but
Hey, this wasn't even Maple's dad. Somebody else gave me this.
Oh,
drop the name.
I mean, that I was told Wyatt Smith, fierce competitor, plays much bigger than he is, all conference, and a huge into FFA, won some state awards.
Yep, sure.
All right, so let me ask you this: how does it feel to win a state champion versus the biggest award you won with FFA? And this is not, and listen, this is not a knock against either one. But
Yeah.
I think it's important that people understand in this area, especially the people that listen to us, FFA is something that's really important to students around here. So tell us a little bit about the difference of what each one of them means.
I mean, FFA. I mean, they both help you grow as a person, really. Uh, FFA helps you more with speeches, kind of, I guess, if you want to say that, and paperwork and stuff like that. But then football, it's more of a character thing almost. But yeah, I would rather definitely choose football over FFA, just because we won state last year. I've been dreaming of doing that since back when we went in 15 and won in 17. It's just always been a dream of mine since I've been a little kid.
So three of you guys, we got three seniors and one junior.
Yep.
How many of you guys are hoping to play on the next level? Holy smokes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Have you guys gotten any letters or attended any showcases to get attention and things like that?
We've been to camps,
Yeah, I
and
think
some visits. Yeah.
When you show up at those camps and people see that you got an East Central across your chest, how do they look at you?
scared.
Scared, yeah.
Definitely a lot of respect. As soon
Yeah.
as they see that, as soon as they see the EC, they know where we're from. They know who we are. Just because of how the style of football we play, and I think that really just shows who we are.
Now, did you guys go to 7-on-7, anything like that this summer?
We did one, I think. Well, we did a couple over the summer. We had some schools come to us, and then we went to a couple schools.
Good. Who were your scrimmages against?
Let me think. We did Coleraine, New Powell, who else?
Oak Hills.
Oak Hills.
And then we went up
Plainfield.
went
to,
to the Colts 11.
yeah, we also went up to Indy to play on this Colts 7-on-7, and we faced some good competition up there.
How'd you guys do?
I forget what our record was, but
We didn't do
we didn't do too good. But it was our first time
Yeah.
getting out playing against some competitors, and it was a good day. We've
Yeah.
gotten a lot better
Yeah.
since that day, for sure.
What does a typical day, and this is for any of you guys, Nolan, you take the lead on this one. What does a typical day look like for you guys leading up to the off season? Like, say, did you have practice yesterday?
Today.
Today.
Okay, so what does a typical day look like for you guys? Because I want people to understand how much work goes into what you do. Like, you don't just show up. So what does a typical day like today look like for you guys?
We'll get in at 6. No, we actually won't get in at 6:30. Most of us get here probably around 6 o'clock. Get our stuff ready, get shoes on, stuff like that. We'll warm up inside of our field house, and then we'll split offense and defense. One of those two will go do agilities and speed workouts and stuff like that. The other half will go lift. We'll switch about midway through, and then as a team, we'll go out to the field and we'll run through our individual drills. We might do a 7-on-7. We might hit each other. It just depends on what our coaches want. So we'll wrap it up. We'll do some other things. We'll have coach talk, and then we'll head out for the day.
Okay, so look, we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. I appreciate you guys being on here today. Who's the funniest guy between the four of you?
Maple.
Maple's the funniest one.
Probably.
I don't know, maybe.
Hold on. With a dad as intense as your dad, you're actually a jokester.
I don't know. I try to be. Yeah.
I think he's just stupid funny. It's just he just does dumb stuff, and it's just supposedly funny.
All right, so here we go. Wyatt, give me your best Carson Pieczonka story. I could probably ask that to Alex. Give me your best Carson story, being that you two are the anchors of the defense. Like, for example, was there ever a time Carson took a hit and you were like, "Oh man"?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, after the bowler game, I remember it was a crackback block, and our one dude was supposed to yell to Zonk if he saw a crackback block, and he didn't get that call out in time to him, and I saw him get hit one of the hardest I've ever seen someone get hit before. And yeah, let's just say that dude, he put Zonk in a bad spot.
All right, Zonk. So give me your best Alex story.
Alex story? Let me think. I gotta think. Oh my god.
This can be games or practice. If
I
somebody
am trying to think.
give me a story when somebody put him in a body bag. I need to know.
A body bag.
Well, I got one. All right, Wyatt Smith over there one time pancaked AK, and AK got up so mad, and they almost started fighting each other. But Wyatt got the best of him on that one.
Oh, AK, oh, come on, man.
He
You
doesn't
seriously
want to talk about how I pancaked him to practice before.
Hey, we gotta fire the defense up on inside route. Me and AK, we're the leaders.
We definitely, me and him, a lot of times, some days people are tired. And we got to spice some things up.
Yeah,
Me and him, we always go at it first play of the game, and it definitely helps. I think everyone gets a lot fired up.
Yep.
Some days it'll be him, sometimes it'll be me. It just kind of depends on the day, but we're always just trying to get everyone fired up, get everybody ready for the day so we can get better.
So let me give you this. Let me ask you this. Who is the one guy on the football team that brings smoke every single play?
Ooh, break smoke.
That might be happening. That might be that guy down there.
Yeah.
Me or Coulter.
You're a Coulter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably me or Brian Coulter.
Yeah.
Oh, you gonna step
Oh
up
yeah,
and
I'm always coming to play. I love flying around and hitting people.
I love it. I love it. All right, so you guys have Lawrenceburg, your first game coming up, and I know you want to focus on your first opponent. But what is the game that you give me? Give me two games that you guys circle on the calendar or on the schedule and say, I cannot wait until these games.
What's the first 2 weeks?
I'd say the first 2 weeks, Harrison and Lawrenceburg.
Why those two?
I'd say because they're such a rivalry, and it's also the battle of I-75, so we always have to win that. I-74, my bad. That was on me. I-74, my bad. That one's on me.
So are these games home or away this year?
Lawrenceburg is home. Harrison's away. Going to be away.
All right. So here we go. At the end of shows, we have a thing we call one hitter quitter. Okay. And I'm going to ask this question to Carson. Okay. You are the guy that has got named to all the different top 25 teams and all that stuff. So we're gonna put the pressure on you.
All right, let's hear it.
I got one for you, and I got one for Nolan, offensive and defensive. How many touchdowns does Nolan throw for this year?
Oh my gosh.
Throw for? I'm gonna say.
Not counting to the other team.
I don't. Yeah, not to the other team. I'm gonna say 17.
How many interceptions?
Ooh, 3.
Okay. Nolan.
Yeah.
2 questions. Who leads the defense in tackling, and who will have the most interceptions?
Zonk's definitely going to have the most interceptions. That's going to be a no-brainer in my opinion. Tackles, it's between these two for sure. It's going to be between these two. I don't really know if I can pick one because either way, I'm going to get my butt kicked after.
I'm not in the box.
So I want to say AK. I think AK is going to get the most tackles, and I think Zonk's going to get the most picks this year.
All right, so then so my last question, and then I'm gonna let you guys go because I know you got places to be. And my last question is for Wyatt. What quarter in the South Dearborn game do you think you will pancake their linebacker that's got D1 offered?
I'm not gonna lie. Last year, it was the first play of the game. So
Are you serious?
I swear.
Oh, all right. Now you know I'm gonna have him on here, so he's gonna talk some major trash.
Scoreboard talk, scoreboard and film.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Hey guys, seriously, man, thank you so much for doing this.